You know why I love Scott Cawthon? He's never misled us with anything, showing us images or anything else that would mislead us into thinking something else. I mean, really and truthfully, he's never misled us and never will. That is right. Today, I'm going to be talking about the FNAF movie and the lies that Scott Cawthon has been feeding us. Initially, from all the trailers that we've seen, we thought this was a recreation of FNAF 1, which makes a lot of sense. However, Scott did say this is going to be its own story, and it seems that he's based these movies more on his books than he has on anything else. So, I think then rather him basing it off the games like we first initially thought, it's going to definitely be based on the books. For instance, in the trailers, they emphasize Abby a lot. I mean, they show her frequently throughout the trailer, and it's very mysterious. You get that there's going to be a B-plot with Abby as she adventures through the Pizzaplex, but you don't exactly understand what's going to happen. And I think this is definitely on purpose. And the reason I believe this is because Abby's going to almost be a more important character than Michael Afton in the FNAF franchise, or the FNAF movie trilogy. Abby's probably the more prominent character that's going to continue to carry this franchise. But just throwing this out there, what if the first 3 movies are Michael's trilogy, and the next 3 movies are Abby's trilogy of movies? Because I feel like Abby's story is so personal and related to this story. Well, we don't know a lot about Michael's yet. Maybe he is really deeply rooted into this story, but to me, we don't really know. Because I think at the end of the day, we all know something terrible is going to happen to Abby. Whether she's locked into a suit, or she's kidnapped by an animatronic, or she's killed by an animatronic. Something terrible is going to happen, and then she'll eventually be resurrected somehow. But still, I think we're going to get that little piece of information that something really bad happened to her, and then she eventually comes back, or she becomes extremely angry, and it's up to Michael to figure it out. However, in this movie, it's more or less going to be her finding out the entire story of this Pizzaplex, while Vanessa maybe gaslights Michael. I really think that's what's going to happen. Vanessa knows too much. Why does she know all of this? I mean, really, that's the big question. Who is Vanessa? Because she surely knows too many things about this franchise to just be a lowly police officer. She has an exterior motive. I even believe that Vanessa could be working for this new unnamed villain that they have cast, aka Mary Stuart Madison, that's on the FNAF cast list. And I really wonder what her character could play into the FNAF movie, because MATPAT never talked about it. And if there's another factor, another villain, maybe Vanessa's trying to get the place completely dozed down, because maybe at the end of the movie, we find out that William sold the franchise to someone else, and that the animatronics are being hauled off somewhere, and it's his sister Abby, one of the animatronics, and she's being hauled away, and Michael runs after her, but he's too slow, and he can't catch her, and the truck drives away. I think that'd be really suspenseful, and then it'd be like the next movie, and then you find out the other person that bought it, or whoever Michael sold it to, or maybe he didn't sell it at all, and he just happens to have another business that's somewhere else, which would be really interesting, and I think would open up a lot of new possibilities for people. But I think the next question we need to ask ourselves about the FNAF movie is, what is the big twist going to be? Is it going to be FNAF animatronic sharks? I mean, come on, that'd be a big twist that no one would see coming. Okay, it won't be that. But I think it'll have to deal something with Michael, or Mr. Afton, or Vanessa, or even Abby. But really, I think it's around those 4 characters. I mean, obviously, but something secret about them that we think we know, but we actually don't, and we're informed that we were wrong about these characters the entire time, and that they have actually something else. And I also think it could be something along those animatronics. Like MATPAT said, maybe Michael's brother was kidnapped. However, I think there's something more going on in that plot. I think Michael's brother dying, I think that's something completely different that we're gonna find out. Because his brother is Michael Afton or something. Hey, it's just a theory, okay? I know people are gonna get mad in the comments, but It's just a random idea I'm throwing out there. Something that I'm actually not going to be throwing out there this time is that it's going to be Five Nights at Freddy's. It will not be a one-night movie. The reason I know this is because if you look at the trailer, they wear different clothes in different shots inside the pizzeria. So to me, this is very obvious that they're going to have multiple nights in the pizzeria, which is honestly really exciting for the FNAF franchise, that we're actually going to get a real reason why he stays 5 nights rather than like he's taking revenge or something. And now, since we're able to distinguish between the different nights, we kind of know the different stages the FNAF movie will take. Because, you have to think about it, if it's 5 nights, slowly and surely the animatronics will get angrier and angrier, or the plot will thicken and the animatronics will become more important in the plot. So, I actually think that you're going to see that damage that was done at the beginning of the trailer with those weirdo guys. I think that's done later on in the movie because the babysitter's there, so it has to be later in the movie. And then I believe by around the 4th or 5th night, Vanessa eventually reveals what actually happened with the Pizzaplex and the terrible things that William Afton has done. And maybe she was even part of the cover-up. Once this information was revealed, she's eventually injured. And then I think William Afton is going to be the big bad. It's like this big showdown between William Afton and Michael. And I think Michael eventually wins. However, I think Michael barely wins because of his brother Garrett. That is right. I'm going off a little bit of MATPAT's video that Garrett is Golden Freddy. I think it's actually a really good theory, and it really lines up. So I'm going to take it. Thank you, MATPAT, and no, you cannot have it back. No backsies. And basically, Garrett saves Michael. He's the only reason Michael is able to survive from William Afton. And I think, really, that's a great way to wrap up the story. Michael was never able to save his brother, which MATPAT tries to establish in his video. However, he does not tie the bow up. I think this story is directly related to Michael as the character, and it's a deeply personal story about Michael. So, I think at the end, Michael's brother, Garrett, saves him, and that's the only reason he lives. And it's kind of like Star Wars, it's poetry, it rhymes. Since Michael's brother Garrett is able to save Michael, it rhymes. George Lucas, if he was alive right now, would be smiling at Scott Cawthon's ingenuity and poetry skills. But there's one itsy-bitsy question on what happens to Abby. Does she actually be turned into baby? Or is there something else that we're missing? Well, again, like I said, FNAF is going to be more like Star Wars. It's going to rhyme like poetry. And I think we're going to see that where Abby could have been saved in some certain way. She could have been saved and something terrible happens to where she turns into baby. Whether or not it's in this movie or the next movie, I'm honestly completely uncertain about. But I definitely think that that guilt is going to ride on whoever's taking care of her, Vanessa or Michael. So really, guys, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. After that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. ICY out!